In January 1983, the Judicial Commission of Inquiry that President Daniel Arap Moi had appointed to look into the activities of former Minister for Home and Constitutional Affairs, Charles Njonjo, started in earnest. The main point of the Commission's investigations was whether Njonjo had been plotting, with the help of some foreign powers, to overthrow Moi's government. For months, the Commission's hearings would captivate the nation. Witness after witness came forward with claims that Njonjo was indeed a traitor whom foreign powers were grooming to take over from Moi. There were accounts of Njonjo's seemingly mysterious goings and comings through Nairobi airport, his bank accounts, his relations with powerful foreign personalities, including the Saudi businessman and arms dealer Adnan Khashoggi, and James Mankam, the man who tried to overthrow the Seychelles government of Prime Minister Albert Rene. There was even an attempt to bring into the evidence the assassination of Tom Mboya 15 years earlier. But when the inquiry came to an end on August 17th, after more than 100 days of hearings, nothing specific had been adduced to prove that Njonjo had plotted to overthrow Moi's government. No smoking gun had been found. Nonetheless, the Commission, chaired by Justice Cecil Miller, found Njonjo guilty of actions that were not in the best interest of the government. On September 14th, he was expelled from Kanu. So were other leaders who were thought to be close to him. Former cabinet ministers Gigi Kariuki, Stanley Oloitiptip, and Joseph Kamotho would be among 15 Njonjo men whom the ruling party expelled. The Njonjo Inquiry had served the purpose for which it had been set up, to remove Njonjo from his position of power. Moi now felt unchallenged in his position. He could even afford to be magnanimous. On Jamhuri Day, he pardoned Njonjo and released all detainees, among them former Kitutu East MP George Anyona, former Nakuru North MP Koigiwa Wamwere, and university lecturers Edward Oyugi and Mukaru Ng'ang'a. Former Eldoret North MP Chelagat Mutai, who had jumped bail over a charge of incitement and taken refuge in Tanzania in 1981, had been allowed to return home unmolested. In the government structure, Moi continued to make appointments that strengthened his hold on power. In July, when one of Njonjo's close allies, Jeremiah Kireini, retired as chief secretary, Moi replaced him with Simeon Nyachai, the permanent secretary he had depended on in most matters of security and public administration since the failed coup attempt. On the economic and business fronts, 1984 was the year Buruburu Estate in Nairobi, originally launched in 1973, was finally completed by the main financiers, the Commonwealth Development Corporation. But that too was the year former Nairobi Mayor Andrew Ngumba's Rural Urban Credit Finance Limited was placed under receivership after failing to repay a 110 million shilling loan from the National Social Security Fund. And it was the year during which Grace Aluma, the Congolese conwoman, was jailed for 2.5 years after being found guilty of fraud. She had conned several top-ranking Kenyans of millions of shillings by pretending that she was a business partner of Zaire's president, Mobutu Sese Seko. On the international scene, 1984 was the year that President Moi and his Tanzanian and Ugandan counterparts, Julius Nyerere and Milton Obote, signed in Arusha the final accord for the disbursement of the assets and liabilities of the defunct East African community. It was also the year Nairobi hosted the Fourth World Conference on Religion and Peace, which was addressed by, among others, South Africa's Bishop Desmond Tutu. It was the year in which Kenya returned to the Olympic Games after an absence of 8 years due to her boycott of the Montreal and Moscow events. At Los Angeles, Kenya put up her worst Olympic performance. Julius Corrier's gold medal in the 3,000 steeplechase was one of only 2 medals Kenya won at the Games, the other being a bronze by Mike Musyoki in the men's 10,000 meters race. During 1984, Kenyans bade farewell to veteran trade unionist James Karebe and former Minister for Finance in pre-independence years, Sir Ernest Vesey.